You know that feeling when something small happens and it stays with you longer than it should? Not in a dramatic way, just a quiet pause in your mind. A sentence someone said, a tone that didn't quite match, a reaction that felt slightly off. And even after the moment passes, a part of you keeps replaying it. Not obsessively, just carefully. Most people move on from things like that, but you don't. And if you've ever mentioned it out loud, you've probably heard the same responses. You're overthinking. You're reading too much into it. It's not that deep. So you start questioning yourself. Maybe it is just in your head. Maybe you're the one making things complicated. But there's something important most people don't realize. What looks like overthinking from the outside is often just pattern recognition happening quietly. And that's where this begins. Because when people say you've changed, they usually mean something very specific. They mean you don't react the same way anymore. You don't engage as easily. You don't ignore certain things like you used to. And from their perspective, it feels sudden. But for you, it wasn't sudden at all. There's more going on here than people realize. What feels like changing is often your brain doing what it's designed to do. Protect you by learning from repeated experiences. Your mind is constantly collecting information. Not just what people say, but how they say it. Not just what happens, but what repeats. In psychology, there's something known as predictive processing. It's the brain's way of building internal models based on past patterns, so it can anticipate what's likely to happen next. You don't consciously think, this person always does this. But your brain notices. It tracks inconsistencies. It registers emotional shifts. It remembers how certain interactions made you feel. And over time, those small pieces start forming a clearer picture. There's also something called the negativity bias. Your brain naturally gives more weight to things that feel off, uncertain, or potentially harmful. Not to make you anxious, but to keep you aware. So when something doesn't align, even slightly, your mind holds on to it a little longer. Not because you're trying to find problems, but because your brain is trying to understand them. And when those moments repeat, when the same feeling shows up in different situations, with the same person, or even across different people, your internal model starts updating. Quietly, gradually, until one day, your reactions change. Not out of nowhere, but because your understanding did. And this doesn't come from one moment. It builds over time, from the environments you've been in, the conversations you've had, the times you trusted something that didn't feel right, and later realized why. Your nervous system adapts to choosing silence where you used to explain, stepping back from situations that once felt normal. And from the outside, it can look like distance, like you've become less open, less expressive, less engaged. But internally, it doesn't feel like withdrawal. It feels like clarity. You're not reacting less because you care less. You're reacting differently because you understand more. And that shift is subtle, but significant. Because once your brain forms a clear pattern, it doesn't easily ignore it. That doesn't mean you stop trusting people entirely. It means your trust becomes more specific, more attuned to consistency, more responsive to alignment between words and actions. And there's a quiet trade-off in that. The more clearly you see patterns, the harder it becomes to go back to seeing things at surface level. You notice what's said and what's avoided, what's expressed and what's implied. And while that awareness can protect you, it can also create a sense of distance that's hard to explain. Not because something is wrong, but because your perception has deepened. And deeper perception often changes connection. This doesn't make you better than anyone else, and it doesn't make others less aware. Some people prioritize ease in interactions. Others naturally move toward understanding. Both have value. Both come with their own strengths and limitations. But if you felt like something in you shifted without a clear moment to point to, there's a good chance it wasn't a sudden change. It was a gradual realization, a series of small observations your brain held onto until they formed something clear enough to trust. And when that happens, your behavior adjusts to match that clarity. Not dramatically, just quietly. So if you found yourself responding differently, pausing more, noticing more than you used to, it doesn't mean you've become distant. It likely means your mind has learned something it can't unlearn. And that kind of awareness isn't a flaw. It's a form of adaptation, one that makes sense given what you've experienced. There's nothing broken about that. If anything, it means your system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. Pay attention, learn, and adjust. And if this feels familiar, there are other patterns like this that shape how you see people, how you respond, and how you connect. Most of them aren't obvious at first. But once you start noticing them, they tend to explain more than you expect.